Have you ever wondered why you carry a weight you can't explain? Why you feel tired even when you didn't do much? Or why you always sense that you have to be the strong one, even when no one asked you to? If this feels familiar, it's not a coincidence. It's the story of someone who grew up too fast. Someone who learned to survive before learning to just be a child. Let me ask you something. When did you first realize that you couldn't rely on anyone? That you needed to handle everything alone? Do you remember the exact moment? Or was it a slow, silent lesson that life taught you every day? Take a deep breath now, because today, for the first time in a long time, you don't need to be strong. You don't need to hold everything together. You don't need to pretend you're okay. Right now, all you have to do is listen. Children who grow up too fast learn to read people before reading themselves. They become caretakers, mediators, protectors, roles that were never meant for their age. And as adults, they carry invisible scars. The fear of disappointing someone, the reflex to fix everything, the habit of hiding their pain so no one feels uncomfortable. If this is your story, breathe deeply. You've carried so much for so long. Now repeat with me. I no longer need to be the hero in every situation. I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to feel. I am allowed to heal. You were forced into maturity, so you grew a heart that was wiser than your age, and a mind that understood things no child should ever understand. But here is the truth no one told you. You don't have to live in survival mode anymore. You don't need to earn love through strength, silence, or perfection. Repeat this softly. I am safe now. I am supported now. I am learning to trust life again. And let me ask you one more thing. What did the child inside you need the most? Someone to hold them? Someone to protect them? Someone to tell them you don't need to carry this alone? Today, you become that person. For yourself. Close your eyes. Imagine your younger self standing in front of you. Small, brave, overwhelmed. You kneel down, look into their eyes, and for the first time, you say the words they waited years to hear. You deserved softness. You deserved safety. You deserved a childhood you never got. And now repeat, I release what was never mine to carry. I honor the child I once was. I choose to heal slowly and gently. Let this be the beginning. You're not healing the past. You're finally letting it rest. This is where your transformation begins.
When a child grows up too fast, they learn to understand the world before the world ever tries to understand them. Maybe you learned to stay quiet so no one would get angry. Maybe you learned to smile so others wouldn't worry. Maybe you learned to take care of everyone because no one knew how to take care of you. But what happens when that child becomes an adult? They become someone who apologizes too much, someone who feels responsible for everyone's emotions, someone who struggles to ask for help because they were taught that needing anything is a burden. Let me ask you something. How often do you say, "I'm fine," when you're not? How often do you push away your own needs because someone else's needs seem more important? Pause and notice how automatic this became. It wasn't your fault. It was survival. But survival is not living. And today, we shift from survival to healing. Breathe slowly. Place a hand on your heart again. Feel the warmth there. Feel the life there. Now, say gently, "I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to have needs. I am allowed to be human." Growing up too fast creates an adult who struggles to rest, not because they don't want to, but because their nervous system never learned how. Do you ever feel guilty resting? Guilty saying no? Guilty choosing yourself? If yes, understand this. That guilt isn't your truth. It's a leftover from a childhood where you believed love was something you had to earn. But today, you reclaim the truth. Repeat after me. I deserve love without effort. I deserve care without conditions. I deserve peace without guilt. Now, imagine for a moment. What would your life look like if you stopped carrying responsibilities that were never yours? Who would you become if you allowed yourself to unfold slowly, gently, naturally? Who would you be if you finally let go of the pressure to be perfect? You don't have to figure it out now, but you can begin. Say this with intention. I am no longer defined by my past roles. I release the pressure to be everything for everyone. I am learning to choose myself with love. And one more question, an important one. When was the last time you felt truly held, not by another person, but by your own compassion toward yourself? Healing begins the moment you stop judging what happened and start acknowledging how strong you had to be. You didn't just grow up fast. You grew up brave. You grew up intuitive. You grew up resilient. But now, you get to grow in a different direction. Toward softness, toward rest, toward a life that doesn't demand constant strength. Say this out loud so your inner child can finally hear it. I am safe now. I am allowed to slow down. I am rebuilding myself with kindness. Let these words settle in your chest. This is where your healing deepens. This is where the past loosens its grip. This is where you take your first real breath as the person you are becoming.
There comes a moment in every adult who grew up too fast when they begin to realize something essential. The strength they once needed to survive is no longer the strength they need to heal. And maybe you are standing in that moment right now. Let me ask you something gently. Do you notice how exhausted you feel, even when you're not doing much? Do you feel the weight of years spent anticipating every problem before it even appeared? Do you find yourself constantly scanning the room, checking everyone's emotions before checking your own? These are not flaws.
These are coping patterns you learned because you once had no other choice. But now you do have a choice. Take a slow breath in. Let it soften your shoulders. Let it soften your jaw. Let it soften the part of you that carries the world without anyone asking. And now repeat slowly. It is not my job to protect everyone. It is not my job to fix everything. It is safe for me to rest now. Growing up too fast teaches you to hold everything together. Healing teaches you to let things fall and trust that you will not break with them. Have you noticed how uncomfortable it feels when someone offers to help you? How your instinct is to say, "No, it's okay, I've got it." That's not independence. That's the echo of a childhood where depending on others wasn't safe. But today, things are different. Today, you are rewriting old rules. Repeat after me with intention. I am allowed to receive care. I am allowed to be supported. I am allowed to let others show up for me. Imagine your younger self for a moment, the child who had no time to be a child. See them standing in front of you, small, tired, carrying too much. What would you say to them? What do they need to hear? Maybe something like this. You don't have to be strong right now. I'm here. You can rest. You're safe with me. Feel how your body responds. Feel the softening. Feel the relief. Healing for someone who grew up too fast is not about becoming stronger. It's about becoming softer in a world that once forced you to harden. Let yourself breathe into that truth. Say this now. I release the roles that were forced on me. I am allowed to begin again. I choose peace over pressure. I choose healing over perfection. And now ask yourself one last question. What would your life look like if you finally stopped performing and started simply being? Let this thought settle inside you. Let it shape your next breath. Let it open a new door inside you, a door to the person you were always meant to become. This is where your transformation continues. This is where your healing deepens. This is where your story begins to shift.
As you arrive at this final moment, I want you to notice something subtle. Your breathing is slower. Your body is quieter. Your mind isn't racing the way it usually does. This is not accidental. This is your nervous system remembering what it feels like to be safe. People who grew up too fast rarely pause long enough to feel their own presence. But right now, you are here. You are not fixing anything. You are not protecting anyone. You are simply existing. And this is healing. Take a slow breath in and let it expand your chest. Let it remind you that you deserve space in your own life. You deserve softness. You deserve peace. Say this to yourself gently. I am allowed to rebuild myself at my own pace. I am allowed to heal from what I survived. I am allowed to stop carrying what was never mine. There is a truth
most people never learn. When a child grows up too fast, the adult they become thinks healing will feel like weakness. But the opposite is true. Healing is the first time in your life that strength stops hurting. So let me ask you this final question. What if today is the day you stop defining yourself by the weight you're carrying and start defining yourself by the light you're becoming? Hold that thought inside you. Let it echo in your chest. Let it open a small doorway to a life with less tension and more truth. Now, breathe once more, slowly, intentionally. Feel your spine soften. Feel your heart unlock just a little. Feel yourself returning to the person you should have had the chance to be. Repeat with conviction, I deserve a gentle life. I choose to heal what hurt me. I honor the child I was. I rise for the adult I am becoming. And if this message resonated with you, if even one sentence reached a place inside you that has been silent for years, then continue this journey with me. Make this your space to grow, to breathe, to release, to heal. Subscribe so you don't walk this path alone. Every morning, I will be here to guide you back to yourself until the strength you are rebuilding no longer feels foreign, but familiar, natural, and finally yours.